Howdy doody to your tootie. It's been a while, guys. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you've had an absolutely great set of Christmas holidays. I hope none of your grandmas knitted you any sweaters or any terrible gifts like that. And with Christmas being over, I can resume normal video production. I was a little bit busy myself lately with all the holidays going along. Presents, gift buying, spending time with family, you know, all those terrible things that nobody wants to do. I just hope you all a very happy new year as well, a little bit early, and I just hope everything goes well. And I'm sure many people are gonna make new year resolutions, of which they absolutely fail within the first week or maybe even day, like myself. Now lately, I've been keeping my videos kind of spoiler free when it comes to the topic of Resident Evil 2, or at least as spoiler free as possible. However, in lieu of that, Capcom has actually released a bunch of information to the point that if anybody else would have released such information, it would have been called an outright leak due to the veracity and implication of the details released. So we get to see all sorts of new gameplay elements from the start of the game all the way until the end of the game at the Umbrella Labs, and this is quite surprising considering that Capcom was kind of keeping very sealed lips on this topic, going to extensive lengths to keep anything about the game hidden away. However, as of late, as I said, they kind of just went all in themselves, and I want to talk about that anyway. All of this information comes coincidentally along with a Metro article release. Now the Metro article release seems to be an early demo or journalism piece that was released months too early, and the implication was that they were given a large chunk and portion of the game much further than any other individual had publicly been able to see. Now after accidentally releasing the article early, it was retracted very quickly. However, of course, this is the internet, and after so many people saw it, massive amounts of re-uploads of the information came out, and then there were also several other leaks that were happening independently of this event as well. And so much information was coming out about Resident Evil 2's remake, and none of it was from Capcom themselves. Now Capcom seems to have done a little bit of a weird move in retaliation. Because the trailers that they had been spoiled, it seems like lots of videos were coming out about this. Now Capcom was no longer DMCing such videos, so it seems like these did have the approval of the corporation. Maybe they just thought the problem got too out of hand at this point and they just gave up trying to censor it. However, they started releasing dumps of information themselves, which also were spoiling large portions of the game, including screenshots of the last portions in the Umbrella Laboratories, which of course no journalists or players have been able to see yet. So it seems like they were trying to beat people to the punchline for this to get as much hype and information out as possible, but it's still quite a staggering and surprising move from Capcom to try and beat all the leakers. The biggest reason that this actually surprises me is the fact that Capcom has absolutely refused to call this title a remake. You can look at this title on the PlayStation Store, on the Xbox Store, on Steam, and nowhere will it be referenced in either the title or the bio as a remake of the original. They want to call it more a reimagining or remaster. However, some of the videos that Capcom have released have shown massive changes in iteration and development, and even the story of Resident Evil 2's lore, which definitely shows it is going to be a remake from the ground up, including new areas, new playable characters, and more things to come. However, again, they didn't want to say this, and then they come out and release all of these videos that just show how far this actually goes to a certain degree. And it's just very surprising to come from Capcom. They were trying to keep very sealed lips about this entire project for such a time, and I can only imagine it's due to all the leaks happening and Capcom's fear of further developments about the game coming from sources that aren't themselves. One of the cooler things that we got to see, however, was how Mr. X's AI will interact with the environment, other NPCs, and the player character themselves. So he will relentlessly chase after you, brushing other NPCs out of the way, treating other T-virus infected creatures as if they're just environmental pieces to brush past, and trying to relentlessly kill the character that you're in control of. They've honestly nailed this element down for Tyrant absolutely perfectly, and of course there are other things that were shown as well, such as the sewer creature that does look to be the G embryo, and also massive amounts of differences such as Kendo and his family. Now he has a daughter, for example, and that is going to have an impact on the story and a difference from the original game. And I'm sure that many of these things were hinted at from Capcom to give us an idea of how far this is actually going to go. One can only imagine based on these things, however, how deep Capcom is going on these specific elements, and I am sure they still have some surprises for us. It's not like the entire game has been leaked yet, but I am very suspicious that things are getting close. So just to give an example about that, recently the achievements list for Resident Evil 2's remake does seem to have been leaked. Now this could be a hoax, but it does seem very legitimate, as it lines up with some of the playthroughs we saw where the achievements were actually unlocked and they contain the same name as this list. However, somebody could have watched that and of course be fabricating this intentionally, but the point still remains. I'm sure many leaks are going to come anyway, and if you are worried that you might have the whole game spoiled before you actually manage to play it, or some of the bigger elements, I would just bail off of all social media, YouTube, and every other area. Any videos or comments could come your way. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like, a share, or a subscribe, maybe all of the above if you really want to support the content. You can also support me on Patreon, that can be found in the description below. I just hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, take it easy and peace.